As a project manager, you're going to need to consider conflict as being something that is just inevitable. Why? Because projects aren't just something that is made for people, it's made by people. This is your team. These are people who are coming from all different backgrounds. They're going to have all different opinions about what should be done on the project, and they're going to have different opinions about who should be doing that work. So basically, to brace yourself for impact, you're going to want to think about conflict as not if it's going to happen during your project, but when it's going to happen. Hey, I'm Corey. I'm working my way to my CAPM certification, and as I work my way through this PMBOK guide, I am talking with you to share what I'm learning. So, conflict management. What you gotta do is prepare for this by having a high level of emotional intelligence, and also just following the methods that are outlined in the PMI body of knowledge. You should also remember that conflict is not always a bad thing. Sometimes conflict will actually let good things arise, like a different perspective that no one else on the team had thought of before, or just finding a new, unique solution to a problem that only some people on team may have seen coming. The key to being a great project manager is to recognize when there is conflict and having the skills to not just de-escalate it, but capture it and manage it in a way that benefits everybody on the team. If you're like me, you don't have a ton of experience managing larger teams, maybe you don't run into huge amounts of conflict on your projects. The PMBOK guide that I have right here has 4 decent recommendations on how to manage conflict when it does arise. So let's check out what the PMBOK guide suggests. Okay, so first off we have keep communications open and respectful. This is basically saying that when conflict arises, you want to make sure that you keep anxiety levels low, because naturally conflict can boost anxiety levels in everybody. And you, as the project manager, needs to facilitate this feeling that everybody is free to speak their mind as long as they keep it respectful. Only by being able to speak openly are you going to actually be able to address the root cause of where the conflict is coming from. If people on your team don't get that feeling that they're able to speak openly, they're going to stop communicating altogether. So the way that you as a project manager need to facilitate open discussion when conflict arises is to maintain a calm tone of voice, and then make sure that your words and your non-verbal communication remain unthreatening. You don't want to come off looking like you have all the solutions without question, and you don't want to make assumptions about what the other person is thinking until you've actually given them a turn to speak their mind. Next recommendation, we've got focus on the issue, not the people. That's huge. Yeah, you don't want to start focusing on who is saying what and your personal feelings about these different people on your team. You need to be focusing on what they're actually saying, or what they mean to say, what they're getting at, not how you personally feel about them. More often than not, conflict isn't arising just because somebody has a bad attitude. It's usually that they just perceive a situation differently than somebody else on the team. So you want to go about de-escalating conflict by trying to understand where people are coming from and not just trying to cast blame on one person or the other person or some group. If you're interested in project management and you want to know a little bit more about what I'm learning, hit me up in the comments. I'd be glad to talk. If you're a little bit more advanced than I am, I'm sure I'd have questions for you. Let me know. What do we got next? We have focus on the present and future, not the past. If a similar situation has come up previously, let that stay in the past. If you start airing out old dirty laundry, then it's gonna probably just make things worse than they already are. You should definitely allow yourself to learn from the past and use your previous lessons to inform your current and future decisions. However, even if a similar situation has happened previously, you need to recognize that this is a new, separate situation. If you focus on bringing up past conflicts over and over again, it's probably just gonna make the current one worse. Let's check out the next recommendation. Search for alternatives together. You can actually slow down or reverse damage that's been done due to a conflict by reframing the situation. You want to change it from your team members being pitted against each other to actually working together to resolve the situation. Yeah, they may totally be in disagreement, but you can use that disagreement to have them find an alternative solution. You're taking that same conflict and just nudging it over a little bit to change it into problem solving. Your team's gonna be coming up with creative solutions together. You can actually view it as team building. If you're lucky, you can get team members to not be walking away from each other, not wanting to deal with each other, and actually construct a relationship that makes them want to work together even more when they see how each other's thoughts and opinions can actually drive to a better project or product. Kind of vague, but there are several models that you can walk through to address conflict and resolve it. But that is for another video. See ya.